So in 2011, you were diagnosed with your liver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cirrhosis. Was it?
Cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis, right? Cirrhosis of the liver.
I was going to say psoriasis too. That's the skin thing.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, that's not psoriasis, right?
God, I still messed that one up. Yeah,
right.
cirrhosis. Yeah.
Which is the scarring of the liver, poor liver function, right?
Oh,
it's like the final phase of chronic liver disease.
Yeah, you're dead.
How did this come about, and what was your reaction when you found out?
It came about two things. One is doing the Atkins diet. You know what that is,
right? All meat, pretty much.
And so that's back before they had all that, like the fancy version now, where you can have protein, but you just fucking ate bacon, Swiss cheese and shit, mayonnaise and shit like that. To lose weight, that, and then when I was drinking, so those two things don't mix. One or the other, you could be okay, but you put them together. And then when you're like drinking like a fucking motherfucker, when you think you're a fucking rock star, that's what you're fucking doing. You just drink like, hey, I'm the rock star. Fuck you, bitch. Wrong. So what happened was in New Orleans and then came back. And then and I owned a restaurant in Cincinnati. And then one day I woke up and like, I'm trying to roll out of the bed. Right? Like, I can't get out of the bed. But like physically, I get up and I'm like, what the fuck? I just felt weird. Bathroom, I get in the shower and like, I look down and I can't see my dick. Fuck, I can't see my feet. So it's like this. Like it's swollen out to here. And I was like, what the fuck? Still went to work. People at work are like trying to figure it out. I went to the Rasta dudes down here who sold like all kinds of natural shit, and like they're like, maybe it's this, and this. And I tried some of the stuff they gave me, and I'm like, maybe it's bad seafood, because it didn't hurt. It was just big. And then I think I went like 4 days, like with that shit like that. And then finally, when I went to the hospital, like they're looking at me like, what the fuck? And so,
right, you saw the nurse lady mouth that, right?
Yeah. And so when I'm sitting there to like do the paperwork and shit, the overhead lighting is like now fucking with me. And like all of a sudden now I feel like shit. And so she kind of winged it and then went into the ER, and then I remember the motherfuckers milling around and shit, and I actually made it up to a room, like they were, was going to be in a room, and then woke up with the dude, to paddle me again. Like, so I'd been dead about a minute and some change, and then, yeah. And then there was just a lot of laying there for a while. And then, one day he took me downstairs and like, remember the joke? He's like, hey, that joke? The thing when you get bit and they say you're going to get a rabies shot and the needle's like 12 inches long and they put it right in your stomach, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard that. He's like, well, that's not true. That's not necessary for rabies. And he's like, but today it is true for what we're doing. So here's this thing. And he's like, you want a shot or anything? Just fucking do it. So they stuck it in here, and that they drained over 2 or 3 times. They drained 32 liters of like bile and shit out of me. So
holy shit,
your liver stops, and then your kidneys try to pick it up, and then your spleen tries to pick it up, and none of them could do what your liver does. And then fluid builds up, and then you get congestive heart failure and you die. Excuse me. And then so that was that. So they drained me, and then I could go back home, but I couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? I couldn't even get out off the couch. But I don't know how he researched it, but he came up with here, do this. Hey, ordered a book. Raw juices can save your life. And then a friend had a juicer, and they gave me a juicer and bought vegetables and fruits. So I read the book, and that's all I did for 6 months. Nothing solid at all, just juice. Like, and I did it like I drank. I didn't give a fuck if you had the highest end shit in the world. I'll take that shit on the bottom shelf because fuck you. Still gonna get drunk. Fuck you. So the fruit, it would be like, here's how you make it taste good. And I'd be like, fuck that. A jalapeno, a lemon, a cantaloupe, a grapefruit, a lemon down the hatch. And then, I have to go every couple weeks to the doctor, to like checkups and shit like that, and the occasional biopsy. And after about 6 months, my meld count liver thing was totally normal. They wanted to do like a final biopsy, and he did, and he was like, so your liver was like this. He's like, it looked like you fucking fucked it up. Like you killed it. And he's like, and somehow you've healed it all the way back. Like everything except the scar. There's a scar at the bottom. And he's like, so let me guess. You've been juicing. And I'm like, yeah, why didn't you tell me that? And, obviously he can't because that would go against everything the hospital would tell you, like meds and money and shit like that. You know what I mean? So he couldn't tell me. I mean, he knew what I did. He was like, if I had seen you out in public, I would have told you, do the juicing thing. He's like, well, you healed your fucking liver, so you're out of the care. You're going. Because I was on the liver transplant list, and he got me taken off, and he tried to explain to him he had healed the whole liver, and they were like, no way. Like, yes, he did. So there. But that was...
Because prior to that, though, like you went into a room with a bunch of doctors, and they basically said, like, if you don't get a transplant in the next hour, you're dead, basically. Something like that.
That was when I was in the ER before the room, when they all came in to, like, look at you, like, talk to you. And, like, I remember the one dude was like, well, basically he looked and said something to the effect of, well, you're dead unless you get a new liver. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of fucking shitty bedside manner. And he was like, that's true. And then he walked out. And so, I mean, I knew I wasn't getting a new liver right then anyway. That's not how this shit works. So, 6 months later, there we go.
Wasn't there another doctor that helped you, though?
Yeah, his name was Andrew's son. He was a Chinese dude and super nice. And he was there in that group too. But he would come. So when you're in the hospital and you see a doctor come in the room and they look at the chart and they sign it and they leave, they're only doing that as part of their rounds, and they get paid X amount for every fucking room they go and do that in. So if they go in 100 rooms, they get paid for all that shit. But Andrew's son, he came in, he's like, how you feeling? This is early on. And I'm like, I feel like I died and I feel like shit. And he's like, well, here's what you need to do while you're here. Drink water, shit like that. And then he's like, and I'm going to be your doctor while we figure out what's going to happen, whether it's a transplant or not. And so every time I go in, like, he knew probably 2 months in I was doing the juicing or something like that, because he could, when he was doing blood work, he'd be like, it shouldn't be, it's like you're repairing yourself. And I'm like, no, I'm just eating steak and potatoes. So it was kind of a little game. Like, he knew, and as long as it kept going down, there was nothing for him to say, like, whatever you were doing before, go back to that, because it was getting better the whole time. He was just like, holy shit. Yeah, so he was really cool. Like, after all was said and done, years later, I went back to see how he was doing. We were there for, my friend Dez had to have surgery, and I went to go see it. He didn't work there anymore because this is just like 5 years ago. But he had moved on to like the Mayo Clinic or something. I think that's in Minneapolis, the big fancy hospital or whatever. But yeah, no, that dude did a good job.
Got you. So the time that you basically died, right?
Yeah.
Like you were done for like what, like a minute and a half or something like that?
That time, yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember that experience? Is it like as spiritual as people describe it to be? Is it like DMT? What is it?
Nah, it's black and it's super calm. And like, I don't really talk about it much like that, because like, I feel like if someone wants to kill themselves, and if you're like, yeah, man, it's super fucking chill, like not a care in the world, just so perfect, that would make them want to do it. You know what I mean? Because no, I ain't seen that. I mean, it's black and it's calm. You don't feel like you're alone, but you don't feel like you're around anything. And then the only part that was cool is the whole like Flatliners thing, where the light came back because you're waking up from being dead. So there is the rushing of the roof. And then, there's the dude getting ready to paddle you again. And then that's not necessarily fun, but That looked kind of cool, but now I was just chilling. Felt like just kind of moving along. Like I just, we could have done it forever.
So
Like
you basically had like what, $500,000 in medical bills at that time?
sounds about right.
That's crazy. So then like people started to donate and LP made that song Rush Over Brooklyn with all the proceeds going to the bills, right?
Yes.
How has your health been ever since then?
So I mean, that's
It's like nothing's wrong?
no. I mean,
Wow, man.
I do the regular, like, go to my primary, like the checkup thing, all the old man shit they have to do now, like, twice a year. Like, nah, trust me, when I'm in there, I mean, I'm waiting. Like, well, you're going to be dead in 10 minutes. No, no, blood pressure's good. Everything's fine. I'm like, fucking hey, dude, sweet. I mean, I don't eat like the Atkins diet anymore. And, yeah, a big vegetable guy. I still do the juice thing when I'm feeling a little spicy.